Okay, chapter 8, lesson 4, volume of prisms. There's a lot more lessons we have in this chapter, like a lot. This is only so we've learned quite a bit so far. Remember, we've learned area of circles, circumference of circles. We did area of just some figures, area of composite figures, and now we're to this, volume of prisms. So first of all, what is volume? If I ask what volume is, what is it, Connor? Yep, everything that can go inside something. Okay, so area we just found like what something can cover, but volume is what can go inside. What's a prism again? We talked about prisms a while ago. What do you think a prism is, Cadence? Okay. You're on the right track. Yeah, you're on the right track. So a three-dimensional figure that has two bases, remember, and they have to be the same thing. Remember that? So like, and they have to be a polyhedron too. They have to be one of those up there. So for example, let's see, this would be a prism. Why would this be a prism again, Connor? Two bases that are triangles. Remember, bases have to be across from each other. Okay? So everything we are going to talk about today is a prism. Everything. We're talking about pyramids and stuff later. So today is just prism day. Alright, so a few things before we get started. I have some vocab for you. So volume we kind of just talked about. Height, that's a new one. And then the formula for volume is also down there. So there's a lot of things you got to get written down just from this slide. And then we'll do some practice. Show you how it works. And typo. Cube and object. It's funny if you're like me. That really bothers me when people don't use "and" in front of like a word that starts with a vowel. Like I'll see people write online. I'm like, okay, that's supposed to be "and," not "a." Make sure that when you're writing that formula for volume, that B is a capitalized B. That's really, really important today. The formula for volume of a prism is always this. No matter what kind of prism it is, that is always the formula. So here's the thing that's different. My b is capitalized, okay, and there's a reason for that. Because when we talked about like a little b, we were just talking about like the base times the height. Remember when we did that for area? Okay, so this is different. A big b means something else. It means the area of the whole base. So this could be the area of a triangle. It could be the area of a square. It could be the area of a rectangle. It could be the area of a trapezoid. It could be the area of whatever polygon is up there. Okay, so for example, let's say we're finding the area of a triangular prism, which looks like just what I had before. Looks like this. So what's my base here? A triangle, right? So my area of a base would be what? How do you find the area of the base here? Do you remember? How do you find the area of a triangle? You're close. Yeah, that's a good start. Or half base times height. You can use either one. So it would be here, it'd be base times height divided by 2, and then you're going to times it by the height. So that big B is this part right here. Okay, so don't think that means just the base. Don't let that confuse you because it will. That big B means the area of the base, whatever it is. So you might have to use your notebook to go back and find the area of how to find the area of a trapezoid, or how to find the area of a rectangle, or a parallelogram, or whatever. So make sure you remember that big B is the area for the base on that prism. All right, can I go to the next page? All right, so let's do one. Okay, so let's do it. Here's an example. If you want to try to draw it, you can try to draw it. It's up to you. If you don't know how to draw it, it just goes like this. Triangle. There. Doesn't have to be perfect by any means. So we know the volume is big B times 8. So before you try it, let's talk about it. Get it drawn. Get all your measurements on there. You need all the measurements because if you don't have that, that's going to be a problem. Okay, so if I look at this, what's my base here? This is the one we just did. What's my base? Triangle, right? I'm asking not for the number, but for what shape it is. So my base is a triangle. So my big B is going to look like what? What is the area of that base? How am I going to find the area of that again? You guys remember? Connor? Yep, so I'm going to do 8 times 5 divided by 2, which was 40. This is 40 divided by 2, so it would be 20 inches squared. So that's my big B. Now what am I going to multiply by? By the height. What's the height here this time? Not the height of the whole prism. Think about it this way. The height of the actual prism. So if I was going to stand this up, what would the height be? Not the height of the 13 would be the height. Yes. So don't get that confused. Good. I'm glad you actually did that so we can talk about it. So not the height of the base, but the height of the whole prism. So times by 13 inches. Because this would be my big B, and this is going to be my height. And that's going to be 260 inches squared. That's my volume. Yes. Cubed, you're right. Thank you. Yes. Very good. See? Told you. We're all on Easter break yet. Very good. And you know why it's cubed? Because it's cubed because how many numbers did you technically multiply together? 3. You had to work with this one, and this one. Very good. Now, do you guys understand why we use this formula? Do you get why? No? Okay, so let's talk about the first part. Let's talk about the area of that base. What was the area of that base? Just the base. 20 inches, right? So that means just here, this was 20 inches. Okay, so that means this whole thing was 20 inches squared. Now, this height tells me basically how many layers there are of that area. Does that make sense? So the area keeps piling on top of each other, and this tells me how many layers there are. So that's why I have to find the area of the base, and I have to multiply by 13 because there's 13 layers of this in that pyramid. That's why you multiply by 13. And that's why the formula works. All right, how are we doing so far? So far, so good? All right, let's try another one. Let's try another one. Here's a box. Okay, you don't have to draw it like this if you don't want.
Correction, A is A1.
Yeah, we were paying attention this morning. Not anybody was, probably. Okay, so my box, if you don't know how to draw it, let's see, you can just draw it. Remember how we drew these one time? We drew them like this and this. Then we connected the sides. That's an easy way if you can't remember. So, big B times H. So let's see, what does this look like? Do I have anything? Yeah, I kind of got something like this, I guess. You guys trying it yourself first? Or do you want me to go through it with you? Let me do it with you? Unless you're still drawing? I don't know. Jacob? I'll show you in a second. Can't draw it, Cadence? Just like this. Remember, so we're going to do one in the back. We're going to do one in the front. We're going to connect the sides. Connect the corners. And you can make it better than that if you want. I was just skipping a sketch. Alright, ready to give it a whirl? Okay, so what's my base on here this time? Actually, there's a few bases, right? But I would do the one it's sitting on. Okay, so what's the base it's sitting on? The rectangle, right? And what are the dimensions of that rectangle? 14 and, no, 14 and 7, because if I look at it, this is my length right there. Okay, so there my base is a rectangle, so we're going to do 14 times 7, right? And then what are we going to multiply by? My height is 4. So basically when I have a box like this, I can multiply all three together, and it's going to give me the value. Just because I don't have to do any dividing or anything with the base. So, let's see. Yeah, it is really nice. I don't have any dividing, I don't have any multiplying by halves or anything. So anytime I have like a rectangular pyramid or prism or cube, all I need to do is multiply by the three sides. So this would be 14, 7, 8, carry the 2, 7, 8, 9, times 4, 2, 3, 36, 29. Is this right? Did you guys do that already? Centimeters cubed. There you go. And this is even more of a good example of why it's cubed, because remember you have to do 14 times 7, and then you add that another layer. So basically if I have cubed centimeters, remember my little centimeter I had drawn in there? If I had a cube of that, 392 centimeters cubes would fit inside that thing. That's the volume. Yep, so if I had centimeter cubes, think of a little centimeter cube. If I had 392 centimeter cubes, that's how many cubes would fit in there. That's how many cubes, yep. And that's like when I go back here to this one, we had 260 inches cubed. Think of inches cubed, so think of a cube inch. It's kind of hard to imagine. I would fit 260 of them in there. So, all right, oops. Let's try another one. Let's try this one. So this is kind of looks like, do I have one? Oh, I do. Gosh, kind of looks like this. So if you don't remember how to draw this one, do the back. There's my back, and there's my front. And then I'm going to connect the corners. How are you doing, Mr. Augustine? How are you drawing? It's up to you. It's up to you. You want to try this by yourself? You can go ahead and try this by yourself if you want. Well, I usually do which ones, like for these, I do which one it's sitting on. Like for ones that are just like this cadence, I do which one it's sitting on. Because to me that's easier to imagine in my head that that's the bass. But like if I have something like this, then I have to use the triangles. Yep. You could. Yeah, you could do any of them. But to me, it's easier to visualize the one it's sitting on. I don't know, that's just me. But yeah, you could do any of them if you wanted. Really, technically for stuff like this, you got to multiply all three of them anyway. So it really doesn't matter which one you put first here. For here, it doesn't matter because if you just have that prism, that rectangular prism, you're going to multiply them all anyway. So. So you would have done 10 times 5. That'd be the area of the base. Times 15. Let's see. Is it 250? Can you do it? Is that right? No. 750. There we go. 750 centimeters cubed. I was trying to do 2. So if I have little centimeter squares and I have 750 of them, that's how many would fit in there. And that's not even a very big box, because look at that, 5 centimeters by 10 centimeters by 15. That's not a very big box. It's maybe like this big. Yeah, that's how many would fit in there. That's pretty nuts. Like a really big box? Like what? Like something like that? Like my file cabinet? Should we measure it? Should I see? Where's my measuring tape? Where'd it go? You know what? Let's do one more with triangular, and then we'll do one. We'll do that back there. Okay. Let's do one that has triangles in it again, like this one. Do you guys see that? Can you guys see what that looks like? It's a right angle. It's a right triangle. Can you guys see that? It's kind of hard to see. So if you aren't sure how to draw that one, like this, then you're going to connect. It's kind of a tricky. That's a tricky one to draw. Sorry. This one, this one, this, this. That's kind of like it. That's kind of like it. Okay, so what's the area of the base, or what's the base this time? It's a triangle, right? So pair of the base times height. That's a big B, by the way. Doesn't look like it. So how are we going to find the area of this base? Anybody remember? Are you guys doing it yourselves? All right, go for it. Go for it. That was the easy one. Don't forget to divide by 2 for your triangles. Don't forget that. So remember, when we find the area of the base, and then, so if that's 10, means 10 fit in there, but then we got 10 layers of that. Wow, it keeps going 10. For 10, that's 10. I got to multiply by 10 because there's 10 layers of 10, so it should be 100 inches cubed. Nope. I wonder why our bells are off. Wait, it's probably because it's Wednesday? I'm assuming. All right, any questions so far? Any questions? What if they would do something like this? Okay, so let's say I have a rectangular prism. Okay, now pretend this looks really good. Pretend this is like really good. And it said, let's say this was 3 inches and this was 10 inches. And we didn't know how many inches this was, but the volume altogether was 900 inches cubed. How could I figure this out? What could I do? So I know the volume, but I don't know one side of my nicely looking rectangular prism. Jasmine? So, Yeah, yeah. So what this really looks like is, remember, base times height, so it'd be 3 times something. So here's my base times 10 equals 900. So she's saying, I'm going to do this first. I have 30 times a question mark equals 900. Then what are you going to do to find that question mark? You're going to divide by 30 to figure out what it is. And actually, it should be what? Everybody know? 900 divided by 30? Should be 30, right? So this should be 30 inches. So I just want to make sure you know how to do something like that too. If it would come up that you don't know something, I want to make sure that you know. It is pretty easy. All right, let's do one, and let's